Hello and welcome to the CFL podcast. The button wasn't working, now the button's working. It wasn't live, now we're live. And I think actually Adam Gellert called it out. Is it a podcast or more of a YouTube channel? At this point, it's more of a YouTube channel. We're working on getting the whole RSS feed thing figured out to put it onto iTunes so eventually you guys could listening to it without having to see me, but you'd much rather see me, of course. Okay, welcome. This week's episode, we have Jessica Barasianos, Coach Jess, as some of you guys know her. We're going to talk a little bit about her transformation story, how she went from where she was to here she is now. That sounded stupid, but you get the point, right? It's about her journey through CrossFit, into CrossFit, and then working here with me at CFL. We were just started before we went live, and we were talking like, how long has it been? We're like, shoot, 1 year, 2 years? It's been 2 years already. Can you believe it? So, sorry, we should probably introduce you. And Jess, say hi to the people.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
I just get a rambling. We have Joe off camera.
Jess!
Okay, there he is. We have Joe off camera. He's going to be our working engineer as in year.
No yelling.
No, Joe, settle it down. We have... Boom, this cool TV. So it's sort of technologically getting advanced, but now we have a TV so we can bring in some photos to keep things relevant. This is hopefully something that's going to be really cool in the future, where we can bring like your guys' videos of lifting terribly in the gym and then display it for public. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Only for educational purposes only. Okay, so Jess, how are you tonight?
Fabulous.
She just got done working out a minute ago. Couple minutes ago.
Pretty spicy.
Prepping for the open. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Take us back to pre-CrossFit days.
Pre-CrossFit days. So,
like just generally, like what were your interests before? Like, okay, so we went to Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Right?
Grew up playing softball ever since I was 6 years old. Played all the way through middle school, high school. In high school, I decided that I wanted to play in college. And so I played on a travel team, went to recruiting, scouting tournaments where college coaches would specifically come and watch us play, and then they would recruit you. And so I ended up playing Division I, Santa Barbara.
I like how nonchalant. Like she beats around the bush. Like, did she get accepted? Yeah. Then it's like no, it's actually Division I softball. Yeah. So anyways, Santa Barbara Division I softball.
Yeah. Got a full ride scholarship, so that was super.
So you've always been an
very
athlete.
Very proud.
No wonder why.
I just always worked hard. I had goals and I did what I could to get them. So I played 4 years at Santa Barbara. Loved every minute of it. And then after I graduated, stopped playing, I really didn't have like an identity. I mean, I had always associated myself with, I was just the softball player. People would come up to me, they'd say, hey, like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm a softball player.
I'm a softball player.
Yeah, so like I totally identified with that. And then once I didn't have it anymore, I was like, all right, so I'm Jess and... fill in the blank.
I used to play softball.
Yeah, exactly. I used to play softball, so then I'd go on this whole rant about like, I played in college.
Yeah.
And so I had a hard time post-college because I just didn't really know. I didn't have anything to identify with.
Yeah, it was like the singular focus was softball through college, and then after that, it's kind of like, okay, now what?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So then what? What were you doing after college?
So right after I graduated, I picked up a job at Outback Steakhouse, a bartending job. And so I was working nights, drinking after with my other coworkers, and then...
Of course, that lifestyle.
You know, we'd start the shift at like 3, we'd work until 11, then we'd go pick up beer, go to someone's house, we'd drink till 2 or 3. Like 2 or 3 until the sun came up, and then we'd go to sleep, wake up at 1, and start back all over again. It was just like an ongoing cycle, and... So then I just got into this, like, started eating bad, started drinking, wasn't working out. I wasn't working out like I was in college and had a workout regimen.
Were you working out at all? Was there, like, from college to, like, a 24-hour fitness, or...?
I tried things like, bar method or, like,
hot
yoga.
I didn't know that.
I did all that weird, like, not weird stuff, but I tried it all because I was looking for
all that fake fitness.
I would try to go to like 24-hour fitness and ride the elliptical for 45 minutes, and I just was not having fun, and it was harder to stay doing it because it wasn't fun for me.
Yeah.
So I I'd go work out like once a week.
So basically fell off too, right? Like, and you hear that all the time too with like people in college that played like, especially Division I sports, like a higher level of sport. Like usually by the time they're kind of done with it, it's almost like you need the mental break a little bit, and then it very quickly turns from a breather to just a lifestyle and habit. Especially coming from like that bar industry, which I actually worked at in a bar and a steakhouse as well too.
Yeah.
So I could relate to that and that lifestyle and how like very quickly like the bad eating and the staying up late and the drinking, like you kind of do it for a little bit and all of a sudden it's like, okay, wait, like what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you wake up one morning and you're like, what next?
Yeah. So then what was next? So we did that. How'd you find out about CrossFit?
So I had a good friend on Facebook actually that was living in Hawaii, and she kept posting videos of her lifts and all that stuff. And like growing up playing softball and then playing in college, I always enjoyed the lifting aspect. Like we would squat, we would bench, we would, do a couple, just strength things. We wanted to be strong for our sport.
Right.
And so I always enjoyed the lifting part. And I'd see her doing it, and I'm like, I miss doing that. Like that was just something that I always enjoyed doing. Cardio, elliptical, nah.
Oh, yeah.
But like all the strength stuff, I was like, I want to do that. So then...
and you are naturally strong. Just to, give some people a little frame of reference. Your best back squat's what, like 353?
Yeah.
353 pounds. That's like more than mine is right now. Yeah, so she obviously missed the strength stuff, was really good at the strength things as well, right, with the barbell and stuff.
Yeah, I loved it. And then so I had yelped. I had just recently moved back to my dad's, and I was living in Tracy, and I yelped CrossFit. And one here in Livermore showed up, and I shot them an email, and I was like, hey, like, I'm interested. Can I come try a class out? And that's when they had the whole, like, beginner classes where you had to go
like the on-ramp?
Yeah, on-ramp or whatever, and where you had to go through these 4 classes before you can get released into the main classes. And so
right.
It was perfect timing because maybe I think a week later they were starting a whole new session, so I was like, all right, cool. So I remember, too, it was like July 2013, and I had emailed, and then the person emailed me back, and I remember writing, like, a message in my iPad being like, tomorrow my life is going to change. Like, it was so weird. I don't know why I wrote that, but I wrote it.
Yeah, interesting.
I could probably even look back at my iPad and find the exact message. And little did I know how much was going to change.
Yeah, and just to fill people in, the person teaching at the time the on-ramp was me. It was me. I came in. I had worked at another gym. Not only worked at, like, volunteered at, I guess you would say, another gym for a while, and started my coaching out there. And I ran a lot of the foundation classes. And lo and behold, Jess walks through the door.
Yeah.
A little bit different than you are now.
Yes, very different. Oh my god.
But that's crazy. I didn't realize that you had done that too. And then so that's actually where we met and where we started, like, where your CrossFit journey started, and essentially where our relationship started as well too, right? Because we met each other there. And then moving forward from that, right? Like fast forward, so like to fill in the rest of the story, right? And then you'll catch it back up. And forgive me if there's more. I left, started what is now CFL, the gym that you guys are at now, and then Coach Jess into coming back and seeing me, which took a little bit of time to pry her back, right?
Yes,
but
yes.
It didn't take much work once you came in. So go ahead, take it off from there. So you went to your foundations class.
Yeah, so I went through the on-ramp classes, and to be honest, I had a hard time at first kind of getting into a routine of like what classes I wanted to go to. I would pop in, the 3:30 class over there sometimes, and then it wasn't until about September, so maybe 3 months later, that I locked onto like a time slot. And so I found my crew that I like wanted to like show up every day for, and that was a 6 a.m. class. I was like, all right, I can't let my 6 a.m. class down. I gotta show up. And so that like ingrained me to like just kind of keep going.
Yeah.
And then met some really cool people there. Learned a lot. Started working out, and then August the next year, was
Right.
When Moxie Madness was.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was when Moxie Madness was, and you guys wanted you were putting a team together.
Yeah, we were gonna go compete. Yeah.
And you needed another girl.
We did.
And so Grace reached out to me.
Yes, she did. Grace.
She reached out and she was like, "Hey, Jess, do you want to be the other girl on our team? Me, Matt, Eric, and we want to do this team comp." And I was like, at first I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm going to just do the team comp and then I'll go back to my business. And I remember the first day I walked into CFL.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm here for life. Like,
nice.
like I just felt like that. This was where I needed to be.
Yeah.
So,
well, good, because we're real thankful to get you. And to fill in the back end of that story, it was funny because Grace, my lovely co-host, as you guys know, and my significant other, was sitting there, and I was like, maybe if it came from you. And not from me. It was like, so it's funny to hear the other side of it. But yeah, so then that happened. You coached at CFL for a while with us, right? After you came on, was working out. We got you a coaching role over there. You started to do that, and then that role started to expand a little bit more to now you're here with me full time at CrossFit Livermore, full time coach, and so. That kind of journey, now I know a little bit of that story because now I'm like in speed with it, right? But to fill everybody else in, a while back, I had come back, and at the time there was no really competitive program. You were kind of just what were we doing, barbell WOD or something at that time, and following some of the stuff.
Barbell WOD,
yeah, and I decided that I was going to go all in on coaching and go all in on this and pull back the reins on my competitive CrossFit, and then linked up with you and started helping you out with your stuff.
Yeah.
And then from there, it slowly morphed into coaching, volunteering, coaching part-time, coaching full-time here. And as we go into, we don't need to get too much into the competitive stuff, but Joe, can you bring up the transformation picture? Do you have that on deck here? Yeah. And just to put it in perspective, just he'll bring it on screen. Boom. We should do like a have you stand up. It's on the computer, so I don't think we could swipe though, can we? That's the messed up part about it though, because you can't see the other side. But some of you guys saw this picture. That pretty much sums it up right there, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh, I think you can swipe if you go over.
And click. Oh.
Yeah.
Boom!
Yeah!
Oh,
God. That sums it up.
Yeah.
Damn.
Right?
Totally.
Just run it back for reference there. Good job on noticing the click thing.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah. So wait, hold on. Before you click back over, when and where are we? Where were we taking this?
Okay, so this is in Santa Barbara. Super Bowl, actually, about 6 years ago.
Okay.
Again, this was post softball.
Okay, so
while
this
I was
is
working for Outback, and obviously you can tell I have a beer in my hand. I'm making them some nice hamburgers.
All
and
sorts
hot
of stuff's on the grill there.
Yeah.
Okay, boom. Then Joe, swipe on over for us for the next one here. Bam. Okay, so when was this one? When was this one taken?
This
Do you remember?
was in November, actually.
Of this year.
Yeah.
Or last year, 2017.
We were getting ready for the
the weightlifting.
Yeah.
Which she got second place, by the way.
Yeah.
It's good stuff
that
on the
was
strong.
awesome.
At a weight class. Let's talk about that for a minute, right?
Yeah.
So
Whew.
going back to that too, what was the weight class that you competed at?
63 kilos.
In pounds for us Americans.
138.6.
138. Yeah. Scan back, Joe, to that other photo. Dude, you gotta get under control of the mouse.
There you go.
Just for people to know, he's sideways looking at it. It's split screen, and he has to use the trackpad because we don't even have a mouse. Okay, boom. So at this stage, did you ever think you would weigh as much as you did and be competing at that level there?
Absolutely not.
And at this stage here, and I really want, and I hope this kind of resonates with some of our members and maybe some of the newer people that are checking this out. But did this person here think I'm gonna go to CrossFit and it's gonna be super easy and all this stuff?
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Right? And so it's really cool to see that coming from that place, and because usually the biggest thing, right, is it's super intimidating, and I'm afraid, and I haven't done the movements. Were you familiar with a thruster before you came in and the gymnastics stuff?
Absolutely not. None of that stuff. I mean, I knew back squat. And that was like the thing that I
Right, yeah.
I get back spot.
Well, did you do much snatch and clean and jerk in schools?
Oh, never. No.
No.
My freshman year, one of our strength coaches started to get us to do cleans, but then he left like 2 months later, and so the next guy came in and we didn't.
Oh.
So, yeah, he wasn't a fan of it.
So you mean you're telling me I could go from this to learning how to snatch and clean, and it's not going to be that scary because you've actually gone through that transformation yourself,
yeah.
right? And I think sometimes, Joe, that either that photo or the other one you had, can you pull that one over for us?
This one?
Yeah, is that possible to pull that one over?
Yeah.
So now going to that, right? This is last year's Open. I got my judging pants on.
Yeah, we have a lot of good pictures like this.
I know, yeah, Joe captures them.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is now you're on the total other side of this pendulum, gone from intimidated to go to CrossFit, kind of willing yourself in there, needing to make that lifestyle change, and then now coming in and not only being able to do all those movements, made the change, but then competing at a really high level, and then also now instructing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I should mention too, when I first signed up, I had no idea there was a way you can compete with CrossFit.
Right.
Like I was like, wait, like it wasn't until maybe 6-7 months later when you're like, oh, you can go do competitions with this. Like
Right.
at first it was just like a way to get, just to work out. You
Right.
know, like
Right.
it was so that I wouldn't continuously gain weight as far as like where I was. And so I was like, I just need a workout regimen to get me to not continuously gain weight. So
yeah.
oh God!
in the aftermath, in the aftermath, the hurt.
Death.
But yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point about not knowing about it being a competition, because I think now one of the things that is happening a lot is people are seeing it through the competition spotlight, and then they're like super intimidated because they see it at this highest level. And I think you were awesome for like the first kind of coaches interview, also transformation story, right? Mm-hmm. Because like you've gone from that person that has no idea what it is through all the different stages. So when people are walking through the door here, you could literally say, no, I've been there, or maybe even in a worse spot, right?
Yeah.
And have made my way all the way up now to even like the highest levels of it. And I think we were like probably like the last generation of like CrossFitters, like that. Like 2013 for me, it was like a little bit earlier, that didn't know that there was a competition with CrossFit, right? Like that was the same way I was. Like I had no idea you could compete at it. And I remember I had been doing it at that point for probably about a year and a half myself. And I remember telling one of my buddies, like, no, I found out like you could compete in it. Like it's in San Jose. Do you want to go? And he like looked at me and he's like, and watch people exercise?
Yeah.
Like as if I was like, like going totally crazy with this whole thing. And now obviously we know it as the sport that it is. So it's kind of cool that we've seen it come through all those different levels on it. So that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so we'll just go through a couple of power questions real quick.
Okay.
A couple quick responders. Okay, so favorite food?
Oh, man.
It's not a quick responder. Okay.
I'm sorry. I have so much good food that I like. I really like Greek food. I just like all the different spices and like vegetables and just all the,
Okay,
Greek
cool.
food.
You do like your vegetables. I feel like every time I walk by, you're just eating like some veggies off a plate there. Okay, cool. So favorite color?
Purple.
Purple. Most overrated saying you hear or see like these are social medias. Like, what's this some like saying or term that tries to...
SMH. Shaking my head.
Oh,
yeah.
Not a fan of that?
I will admit, for the longest time, I didn't know what it stood for.
Like hook grip? For a while, Jess had no idea what hook grip is. By the way, thumb wraps around the bar, hand wraps around the thumb.
Embarrassing, but yes, I did not know what hook grip was.
So hook grip.
SMH. I don't know why that came to mind, but I just remember,
Favorite.
Or FTW, too. That's for the win.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I never knew that. Yeah.
FTW.
FTW.
Interesting. Okay. Favorite movie?
Sleepless in Seattle.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's cute. Sorry.
Wait, is that the Tom Hanks one?
Yeah, with Meg Ryan.
Ah, yes.
Shout out to my sister, because that's like our movie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, me and Laura.
All right. Right on, her twin. Some of you guys might know her here at the gym. Okay. What was it? Oh, favorite like either like book or article or anything that's not a movie that you go to.
Oh,
or
like Harry Potter?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Like, Harry Potter?
Well, technically that is a movie, but you're referring to the books,
Yeah.
right? The Harry Potter books.
First.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe one more. Favorite movement in CrossFit? Thrusters. Least favorite movement in CrossFit?
Kettlebell swings.
Really?
Yeah.
90% of the people are going to be like, that's the opposite. Okay.
Someone said that too. They were like, they asked me that, and it happened to be their favorite movement was kettlebell swings, so we were just completely
Oh, the opposite? Yeah. Good for a partner workout.
Yeah.
If they have thrusters and kettlebell swings. Okay, so this is just the short one, just to have people kind of like see your transformation. I wanted kind of everybody to know your story a little bit, but we're definitely going to have you back on. Next time I think we'll talk about the competitive side of it, right? I think that would be awesome. And then also, too, I want to get more into the nutrition. Maybe we'll let Grace and Jess take over the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Bye, Matt.
Oh, no. Okay, so this is awesome. Jess is our first coach to be interviewed. What's happening here?
I was going to find the other one of you guys that I really liked. A little bit of community.
Wow.
I know. Everybody's getting like...
Open.
Are you talking the dumbbell one?
Yeah.
The
16.1. It's coming up.
Or 17.
It's not like it's split screen and he can move it over and find it and move it back. Oh, nice.
How about those toes to bar, Coach?
Yeah.
Wait, go back one more. 2 more now. Okay, boom, leave it on there. Oh, now you're getting extra shout out on the podcast in real time. Okay, so like getting back to it, yeah, we want to talk about next time competition. The Open's coming up. There is a big shuffle in it. All the regions got smushed into the West region, so it'll make it a little more competitive. I still think she's going to do great. So stay tuned for that. We'll talk about that next time. We'll talk about some nutrition stuff.
Yeah.
And that's it.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, anything else? Anything else we wanted to cover? I think that was it.
I think it's really crazy that we met and you taught me everything that you did, and then to be where we're at now. Like, it's just the relationship that we have and like how far it's come. Like 5 years ago, like that's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, I just think that's still every single time I think about it, I'm like, it's like we were meant to be here.
That's it.
Yeah.
Solid.
On this podcast at this moment.
And on that note, we're out.
Bye.